I've been doing some really powerful affirmations, kind of personally. I've been going on a walk. I've been going for walks and just like talking out loud to myself and doing some affirmations. So I'm going to share some of those with you, and we're going to do them together. I'm going to do wins, and then we were just in Tahoe, and it's probably the biggest conference that we go to all year from a content standpoint. And so I just want to unpack some of the stuff, some of the takeaways, and deliver them back to you guys in real time. I'm going to pick on Sadie a little bit. Mike, if you think of anything as well. And we're just going to create some energy in here this morning. Couple quick things. I can't even begin to tell you, we set 106 appointments yesterday, and I can't tell you how proud I am. And you should be really proud of yourselves. And some really, like Audrey, I was talking shit to Audrey, and she came through and whooped my ass and set 12 appointments. I was in the pond. She was, I hear you yabbering over there. Okay.
You say it louder. It's true. Whooped his ass.
Whoop my ass. Anyway. I was like, Audrey, I'm going to whoop your ass. She whooped my ass. Anyway. And Ruthie was 6, and Stephanie was 6, and Mayfield was 9, and Breland was 7, and Perna was 6, and Mark with 5, and Sarita 4. It's like just, there was just a ton of energy in here. And so I don't know if you were feeling apprehensive. We didn't have everybody in here yesterday. I don't know if you were feeling apprehensive. I don't know if maybe you had some family commitments, but I would really encourage you to be in that room. It's really cool. And I know a lot of you guys, you don't know what to expect in that room. And I grabbed somebody, I forget, and I was like, hey, you were in real estate at another company? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, were you ever in a room like this where everybody's just dialing and making calls and creating energy? And they were like, oh my God, no. So it was a really cool thing. And so really proud of everybody. And even if you have family commitments and you can only make Zoom, get on the Zoom and just for that 6 hours, commit on Monday. So next Monday, be here. There was a lot of energy. Anyway, I'll do wins, I'll do that. Shout out to these guys, and shout out to everybody that was setting appointments yesterday. And then I'm going to do some takeaways around Tahoe. And so I'll pick on Sadie, and then I've got my takeaways as well. Sound good? Mm-hmm. Cool. This is probably a meeting where, like, you probably want to take some notes. If you don't have stuff to take notes, I literally put a piece of paper right here, or a thing of paper right there, and so we'll get you some good takeaways. Okay. Hey, stand up real quick. Look, one of the things I really, really believe, and the more I go through whatever this journey of life is, I really believe this more and more and more. And one of the things I talk about, and I say to you guys sometimes, is nobody talks to you more than yourself. Like nobody talks to Austin Pottis more than Austin Pottis. Does that make sense? Nobody talks to you more than you talk to yourself. And what's really interesting is, so that means that in any given moment with our self-talk, with our internal dialogue, whether purposeful or not purposeful, in any given moment, we are either building ourselves up or we're tearing ourselves down. In any given moment. And it shows up in sneaky ways. Like, have you ever done this one? Like, I don't know, you're driving and you forgot your laptop, so you got to turn around. And so you say, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. Right? You ever do that one? Or like something like that? Or, gosh, oh my gosh. Right? We talk to ourselves negatively all the time, yes? And we really do. Or like sometimes someone will give us a compliment and we'll actually, we won't say, hey, thank you for the compliment. We'll go, oh yeah, I'm not that. It's not that, right? And we'll downplay the compliment, right? We do this all the time. It's like a self-deprecating. Is that the word? Yep. Deprecating. Yes, vocabulary. My name is Austin. I have great vocabulary. Self-deprecating. There you go. And so nobody tears us down more than ourselves if we're really honest. And so one of the things that I've learned to do over the years is when I say something bad about myself, I catch it. And it's almost like I catch it and I go, nope, I don't actually believe that. And then I say something nice about myself, whether it's internally. I tend to, these days, just say it out loud, okay? And so this takes practice. You can actually train your brain to do this. And the more positively that you could train your brain to speak out loud and to speak things that are positive things, the more that it'll just come naturally. And then you'll really start to believe it. Does that make sense? It's almost like we're trained, we'll believe it when we see it. Does that make sense? The truth is we actually see it when we believe it, right? You actually see things happen and materialize in your life when you believe it. And so I'm just going to share I literally, if you could picture me just going for a walk, like at night in my neighborhood, and it's pitch black, and whatever, people are out walking their dogs, and if you could picture me, I'm literally just talking to myself out loud, walking down the street, yeah. I would have said like a crazy person, but I don't believe that, so I'm not going to say it. But anyway, so I walk out loud. And so can I just share with you some of the affirmations that I've been saying to myself out loud? And so I'm going to say them. I'm going to have you repeat them back, okay? So shut your eyes. Keep them open. I don't care. It might be easier for you to shut your eyes. And I'll just share with him some. Cool? So I'm going to say one. You repeat it back, right? Cool. Ready? Man, I'm awesome. I'm the leader of my family. My family goes to where I lead them. I'm a leader in my community. That means that my community goes where I lead my community. I get better every single day. Man, don't worry about that one. Just get better. Dude, just get better. Focus on process, not the outcome. Focus on the process. I have a responsibility to the people in my life. I show up the best possible way for myself and my family every single day. No one outworks me. No one outworks me. I'm committed to the process, not the outcome. I love myself. No, I love myself. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm good. High five somebody. Just get some energy. Be mindful of the way you talk to yourself. Good? Okay. Got you hippy dippy this morning, Jeff. Hippy dippy, Jeff. Sit down. High five somebody. You're good. Breland, you don't have that problem, do you? Breland walks around like, I love myself. Anybody got any wins this morning? Okay, I see Audrey, and then I got Wendy. Audrey, ready, set, go. Dude, you shot that up fast.
Yeah, well, because I was really excited because I get to pull in Austin today.
Ooh.
So I was coming out here.
Oh, hi, Austin.
So I got a pending yesterday for a cash offer at $335.
You're good.
Oh.
Well, if you're going to come up front, come up front.
Come up front, yeah.
I don't know, I thought that was, I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to stand by my 12 appointments.
Dang! Shots fired.
But the reason I won this, that I thought was like a good thing to like reiterate, because we haven't talked about it in like a long time, but it was one of the first things. Let me slow down. It was one of the first things that I learned joining the Perna team, and it really helped me win deals early on as well. And it was just a good reminder that I thought it'd be good for all the newbies that we have, because we have a lot of new people lately. But the listing agent let me know that the reason I won this offer, because there was 2 cash offers, and they were like the same. I won it because of my feedback that I put in showing time.
So what'd you do?
I just put how much they loved it, that they could really envision being there, and like the specific things in the home, and they appreciate the sellers because it's in an estate, because it's their mom's home and she recently passed. So it's really, hard on them, and they just felt my clients deserved this home more so because of how much they really appreciated the home, how well it was taken care of, because I put that in there, and then I just put how they like love the design of it, because their mom was like obsessed with giraffes, I guess. So like the whole house is like, there's a big giraffe on the like above the mantle, and then the walls are like giraffe colors, and they thought that was so fun, and I put that in my feedback and everything, so they really appreciated all that.
Audrey, why feedback help the newbies?
Because the feedback goes right to the seller. It goes right to them so they get to see it. Because not all of the stuff that you share in your email or to the call of the listing agent is gonna get to the seller. So that feedback's really important, because you can put in little nuggets in there like I like to do, so then you can really like pull on the heartstrings more, because they honestly sometimes don't even like show that family letter that you're putting in your offer and everything too. So that's like a good way to like sneak those things in there, and goes directly to the seller.
So you wrote a little love note, rate and feedback. You know the seller saw it. You referenced giraffes. You won the deal.
Yes.
Good job, Audrey. Yeah. Oh,
She's gonna kill me. And I think it's really important that we all cheer you on. Can we all cheer you on? You're gonna kill me. And
Oh, no.
Audrey and I have been talking.
Oh, no.
She and I have been doing one-on-ones, and we had a conversation. And Audrey said to me, "Hey, I had a goal for this year, and I really I'm kind of bummed because it doesn't feel like I'm gonna hit it. And I really worked hard, and I know next year I'm gonna get it, but I'm a little bummed because I don't feel like I'm gonna hit it." And we looked at it and we did the math, and I said, "Girl, you could do this. What are you talking about? You could do it now. Is it gonna be hard? Is it gonna be complicated? Can you do it?
Yes.
What are you gonna do before the end of the year?"
I'm gonna sell 15 homes by the end of the year.
You're doing it.
woo!
We looked at it, that's why this pending is a big deal, because we looked at it, we looked at the timing, right? And I said, "Girl, you willing to have just like 1.5 weeks for vacation, Christmas, and Thanksgiving, right? Are you to make this happen?" She said yes. So we looked at the math, hashtag math. And there were like 14 weeks before the end of the year. And so I said, "Hey, look, 15 pendings in 14 weeks is totally doable. It's 1 a week, and 1 week you gotta get 2. Can you do that?" Right? And she said yes, and I totally believe that she's gonna do this, and we're gonna do it together, so I got you, right? And so when you hit it, I want the whole team to celebrate with you. So we're putting it out there.
Can I stay? Because my win is Audrey's too, that I wanted to share.
It's like you want to go give Audrey some love?
Because Audrey, from the day one that she started with the team, has always had a hand forward and always had a hand back. And she consistently is in the office, and she is consistently reaching out and helping people. And I just wanted to take time to celebrate Audrey.
Good job, Audrey.
Now you can sit down.
And never wearing shoes.
Audrey, wait.
Always
Was that
socks,
intentional?
never shoes.
The purple shirt, was that because you beat him up? Oh, yeah.
Are we on a who wore it better? Yes, you wore it better. Yes. It's good.
No shoes you wear.
Even with no shoes, you wore it better. Damn, I'm getting mopped up. Good job.
Tell yourself that you wore it great too, Austin.
Thank you. I look good in purple. All right. That's my affirmations. I look good in this polo. All right. Who else has a win? Oh, Wendy, you got a win now? Okay. Yeah, get it, Wendy.
They're waiting, and
Uh-huh.
I hate when you hand me the microphone, so I just sit here quietly.
You hate to talk, don't you? Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's the worst, isn't it, Wendy? Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, I got a buyer that's up to $1 million, but the real win is that they're gonna have me list their house as well. So it's a double dipper, and also the closing I had last week, I'm gonna be listing hers condo. She wanted to move before she listed. So I'm dipping in the listing world with my mentor, but yeah. So I also got another $1 million client yesterday, and I'm working on that one. So if anybody has a $1 million cottage-looking house in Huntington Woods, please let me know.
8-point plan. What are you doing that it's raining $1 million clients?
Zillow.
Yeah.
Just keeping them happy, and yeah, the clients that are the first ones I talked about, that they're going to be listing their house with me as well. Really, when I first talked to her, we talked for like 40 minutes about anything and everything, but part of the conversation was her husband knows people, that are in the business, but they don't really have any, loyalty to them. They're not real close, anything like that. But one of them mentioned that if they use the same agent for the buying and selling, that they can get a really great deal on the commission.
Yeah.
So I kind of had that conversation with her, and she was kind of like, I know this is, something maybe I shouldn't talk about, right away or whatever, but he's going to bring it up and blah, blah. So I reassured her that, commission is a negotiable thing. It's something we can talk about. Let's just find you guys the right house, and let's meet and talk about the listing, listing your house and how that all works and all that kind of stuff. And she was kind of like, okay, great, and we talked and, kind of got a connection or whatever. Well, like an hour later, she called back and said, my husband came home and he really wants to talk to you, and we're gonna see this house tomorrow, and we're gonna sign, we're talking about signing the agreement, but he wants to talk to you. And I said, okay, fine, and I knew what was coming. And he said, basically, I was told I can get a really deep discount, were his words, on commission if, we buy and sell with the same person. And I said the same thing. I said, you know what? Commission is negotiable. That is something that we will talk about when we sit down and we talk about your listing. And just so you know, I'm on a team and we work as a team. And, there's a whole bunch of us behind, wanting to get your house sold for the right price, at the right time and all that kind of stuff. But that is definitely something, commission is something we'll discuss. And yeah, and, he kind of said again, well, I was told. And I said, I get that. And that's something, again, that is negotiable. I said, but let me just tell you, when we sit down, we'll explain to you what we're going to do to sell your house. The things that we put in place with our team, so that your house will get sold. It'll get sold quickly and it'll get sold for the right price. I said, you are more than welcome to talk to somebody else about what they're going to do. I said, you can call Joe Smith from down the street and he'll say, yeah, I'll do it for 1%, no problem. And he's going to come put a sign in your yard and say, call me when somebody wants to buy it. I said, but that's not how we work. We have a whole team behind us. We have meetings every morning. And in fact, we talked about that again at one of the showings, and they both kind of almost jumped up and down and said, oh my God, you sound just like Selling Sunset. I was like, yeah, we have meetings every morning at 9. We talk about the houses that we are listing and what they have to offer, and talk to the other agents in our, in our group, in case they have a client that wants to see it before it's even on the market. So we might get your house sold to another agent on our team before you even have to do a showing. But that's just one of the things that we do to make sure that your house gets sold, in time, in the right timing and the right price or whatever. So anyway, talk to him, and I can't even remember exact words, but basically, I said something along of the lines, I didn't say it in these words, but you get what you pay for. So I get that you want a discount on your commission, but you want to get the best price for your home. And he kind of laughed. He goes, yes, I know. I know. Everybody wants to get paid what they're worth. I understand. That's okay. So kind of opened up the conversation, or opened up his mind to the fact that, 3%, we're going to be worth it. So anyway, we have a listing appointment on Sunday with, who's with me? John. So anyway, yeah, that was
Amazing. John's amazing.
yeah.
Okay, good. So listing appointment Sunday, go.
Wendy is also downplaying this because you said, how are you getting all these clients? And she made a flippant comment about Zillow. But what you're not saying is that Wendy is out there hustling her butt off. In fact, the one thing that we're doing today is like, girl, get your calendar together because you're going to double book yourself here pretty soon. But she's saying yes over and over and over and over again to every client, to every showing, to every potential opportunity. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll help you. And I'm going to give it my all for everybody. And it's that energy that you're putting out there is paying off in spades. Like there isn't a day that I've talked to you where you're not in your car moving from one thing to another, right? I never call her and she's like, oh, I'm at home today. Like never, right? And so the work ethic is really working in your favor. And it's a big deal. You're hustling, girl.
You want another affirmation? You ready? You got to say it though.
Okay.
I'm a money magnet.
I'm a
I'm a money magnet. Let's go. Good job, Wendy. Good job. Good job. There's a lot to unpack there. It's really good. Get the listing appointment. Anybody else want to share one? Okay. Okay. Hey, Sadie, can I highlight you a little bit? Sure. She said, sure. Okay. So the story is that you were asked to speak in Dallas? Dallas for the Maverick concert. The Maverick conference. There was no singing. There was no singing.
There was singing. Sadie is not invited.
No.
No.
Same with dancing, right? You can't dance, can you?
Who?
You got like the way.
White girl from Montana.
All right. Anyway.
I get jitterbug.
And so then on stage, what you did is you asked John. You you basically, so you got asked, and then your last slide on stage, you basically closed John and said, I want to speak in Tahoe. And so, which
I
is,
didn't say that.
what did you say?
I said, I actually ran it by you. I go, Austin, is this super presumptuous or is it kind of funny? He goes, no, it's kind of funny. You should do it. I'm like, I'm doing it. So I got done with the thing in Dallas and I said, hey, so on the team, I'm kind of known as the queen of scripts. And that's what I do is scripts and talk tracks and stuff like that. And I have an amazing one. It's like, it's incredible. And you all want this script. And I go, but before I show it to you, you have to promise me that you're going to use it. Who in this room is going to use it? Or I'm just going to skip it. And I got the whole damn room to raise their hand. Everybody in the whole room raised their hand. And then Austin was in the back and he goes, oh, she got you. And then everybody laughed. And then I flipped to the next slide and the slide said, Dear Chep. And I was like, well, that's a weird start to a script, isn't it? And it said, Sadie was amazing today. You should ask her to speak at your next event. And, and Chep just laughed. And then our coach, Chep Black, who puts them on, he came up on the stage and he was like, girl, are you trying to speak in Tahoe? And I was like, you know it. And then like 3 people got up to ask questions and all 3 of them said it to him. And so it was funny. And so then I finagled my way onto the Tahoe stage.
So you landed that plane.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
What, by the way, why is that room so important to you to speak?
Well, we've been going to, so the first Tahoe event, we were talking about this, right, Mike, was 5 years ago. And Perna went to it. And it is the leader, it's basically only team leaders. And it is the room with all the biggest teams in the country. Like 200 of the biggest teams in the country, you go to this event. This is the event you go to. And Mike went to it 5 years ago and he came back and he had like a billion things for all of us to go implement. And we didn't understand any of it because we weren't in the room. And we were like, yeah, Perna. And so the next event, he said, I'm taking you with me. I'm not going alone because if you guys don't go with me, you're not going to hear this stuff and you're not going to bring it back to the team. And so ever since then, for 4 years, thank you, Perna, we have been going to Tahoe as a leadership group. Now more and more teams are doing it. It's interesting, but Perna was the very first, if you guys don't think he believes in like the team through the trickle down, he was the very first team leader in that room to bring anybody who was not an independent team leader. Like he was the first person in that room who brought teammates with him. And so it's pretty cool. We've kind of set a standard there. And now every time we go to Tahoe, there's like more and more team leaders who are like, oh, I brought my director of ops. I brought my director of sales with me. I brought my recruiter, whatever. So it's cool to see that evolution. So for the last 4 years, we've been going to that room. And it's, I don't know about you, but like we sit in that room and it's like pages of notes. And Austin doesn't take pages of notes. But I take pages of notes. Perna takes pages of notes. And it's like, we should go do that and go do that. In fact, there's so many things in that room that there's no physical way to go implement them all in a year. Like there's so many cool ideas. There's so much amazing stuff happening that we come home and go, we wish we could do all this and we just can't. There's so many cool, and so we pick and choose the best things that we think are going to work for you guys and then go implement.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, good. So you spoke about our SOI program.
I did.
And so why was that important? There was also a really kind of cool like story that came out of it. And so you want to talk about all that stuff?
Yeah. So in Dallas, I talked about boot camp and launch because that's kind of what I'm known for. Like a lot of the coaches and team leaders and people that we know in the industry, they know that that's what I do. That's what I did. And we were one of the first ones to put that into a boot camp style program, video based, like all of that. So people ask me questions about that all the time. And I thought, you know, that is sort of evolved and it's working and a lot of teams are using it, but what can I give the room that is new and different? And Perna had been talking to a bunch of people that he knows, and there's a bunch of teams out there doing SOI stuff, but it looks like, hey, come into the office or my house or whatever once a week and bring the videos that you want to shoot and I'll have a video crew here to shoot them for you. That's what their SOI programs are. And I knew that ours was significantly better and different than that, and we're the only one doing it. And so it felt like a good opportunity to share that with the other teams about how it's working and what it does and how it's different from what everybody else is doing. So
Good.
yeah.
And you got like a ton of feedback. It's like you do a talk like that on stage, your cell phone blows up, your Instagram blows up, your Facebook blows up.
Yeah.
And like we're able to deepen a lot of connections and
Yeah.
a lot of things come out of that. There was like a cool little story that came with Mayfield, right?
Yeah. So Mayfield, are you on this morning? I think he's on. I saw him.
Good morning.
Hi.
What's up, sir?
So I put a few people on my slides. I just ran some numbers, some quick numbers. Truthfully, I didn't have a ton of time. In fact, it was day one of the conference, and Dylan, who like does all the tech stuff for Cheplack, came up to me and was like, Sadie, you're speaking at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I was the first one to talk about intimidating. You're speaking at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I still don't have your slide deck. Like, can you please? Yes. And I was like, shit, yes. So I ran a few numbers. There's lots of standout people in the room. But I ran Dawn's numbers, SOI last year to this year was incredible. Mayfield's were really, really good, and Joe Cook, because she's newer to the team and has done a ton of SOI. And so I highlighted the three of them in my presentation, and Mayfield, you were one of them. And I highlighted you, and then you told me, what was the story the next morning, Austin talked about it?
So the story was Austin mentioned it in a morning meeting, how you highlighted us at the event, right?
Yep.
And then when the event was done, I get a text from one of my spheres that hasn't reached out to me in months and said they wanted to go see some homes. So I was like, all right, let's go. They're looking up to 800K. And so it was just really weird how that happened. And then I got a text right away from a sphere.
Yeah. We were talking about it because you guys all know I'm into the energy we put out in the world, right? And so I was like, Mayfield, we put it out there and it comes back to you. It's so cool. So, but you've been working it and doing the program and posting all the stuff. In fact, Mayfield doesn't even look at what I send him to post. A lot of you don't. It cracks me up every time. Because for a while, every time
copy and paste that shit and move on.
Copy and paste. For a while, he was copying the word caption. You know how your emails say it says your video, your audio, your caption, and he was just copying your caption and the caption and putting it, and I'm like, Mayfield, take out.
Yeah, I learned you can't click select all.
So funny. He just implements over and over, but it's really cool. So last year, all of 2023, you had 8 sphere closings. I might butcher this. All of 2023, you had 8, and in 6 months of 2024, you had 9. Half of the year, right?
Good on you, Mike. Good job, man.
Yeah. Dawn, your numbers were super similar. You had 7 last year and 9 so far this year, 8, something like that.
Good job, Dawn. Good job. Yeah, she put you right up on the screen. It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And
Uh,
how about the woo-woo?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a woo-woo
I
too?
did.
Here,
Look,
come here.
if you don't like the woo-woo, then this is the wrong team for you, apparently.
Yeah, right?
It's a
I'm rubbing
woo-woo
off on
day.
everybody.
It's a woo-woo day.
I got an email on Saturday, and by Sunday I was in a coffee shop with some new people. Apparently they had pushed something on Zillow, and they got this random agent who was going to make them sign a VA for a year, and anyway, all kinds of weird stuff. So I guess he went into his office and started, talking about, hey, we're going to buy a home. And so one of my clients that I helped, they were first-time home buyers, so cute. Anyway, so he went into his office and was like, hey, we're going to buy a house. So my first-time home buyer couple said, oh, you got to call my agent, Dawn. She's like, no BS, because when we got together, he's like, yeah. Kieran was saying, yeah, you're great. You're like, no BS. You got the offer accepted right away and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I met them. Like I said, they sent me an email. I called them, and we were in a coffee shop, and they were like, oh, will you help us? Do you have time, in your schedule?
I might be able to squeeze you in. Yeah, yeah. It was right after this?
Yeah, it was this past weekend.
Amazing.
Good job. Good job.
So next time, I don't know if there's a next time, but next time I'm just going to put a slide with all the Sphere people's names, and you'll all have a deal.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. What do you think your biggest takeaway overall in the conference was?
It's interesting. I have, like I said, I have pages and pages of notes of little things, and I've learned over the years to write down the notes, but then put a big star next to the action items that I should go implement right away. Otherwise, I'll lose them and forget about them. And
Do you have one?
and so I have a bunch of those things that we'll be trying to implement, we'll be implementing and doing and bringing back to you guys. But I actually think that being on stage is interesting because the moment you're on stage, everybody has questions for you, right? And they want to come up and talk to you. And the really cool thing for me was that it's not just the people in the room, although the people in the room are incredible, but it's the other speakers. So there was, I don't know how many, 15
Sure,
speakers, maybe 12,
15-ish.
15, something like that,
Yeah.
right? And so it was the other speakers that will come up to you and be like, hey, your talk was great about this. And then, right, there's a conversation that goes on there. And so I think for me, it's those connections. I popped in the Facebook group. There's a luxury agent. We're going to try to bring him here. He's awesome.
Yeah.
A luxury agent from Chicago, outside of Chicago, who was talking about luxury at Chep's event. And he needed a ride from the airport and we had a car. So I was like, Michael, hop in with us. And I knew he was another speaker. It was like, let's spend an hour with him. He got in the car and we're like, hey, dude, we're going to a crystal shop. He was like, okay. He had so much fun.
He
loves
did,
us.
yeah. He was good.
But anyway, so it was like we got to connect with him for an hour. And then after I was done, I was standing in the back of the room because I did like unmic and all that. And there was like 3 or 4 other people back there and we were all chatting and talking. And so it's like developing those connections, being able to ask them. It's one thing to hear a 30-minute presentation on stage from somebody and be like, that's a great idea and let's go implement. It's another thing to be able to be like, hang on, but how's this working and how's that working? And like, can I get more information here? So I actually think for me, it's the power of those connections. And I know sometimes sitting in this room, it's hard for you guys to see. I get when I was not in those rooms, it was like, okay, sure, right? Mike would talk about the connections and I'm like, sure. But really, truly, those connections allow us to have a collective knowledge that's way bigger than this room or even Michigan or our local market. And so I think it's really important to have all of that. And that was very cool. Like I have like 15 new contacts in my phone of people who I can call at a moment's notice and help them and they can help us. And so if we need resources, we need help, we need even a perspective from somebody else, we can get that in a heartbeat and bring it to you guys and make sure that we're making the right moves and doing the right things. So
Yeah. It affords us the ability to reach out and
Yeah.
just implement things. Yeah.
yeah.
It's good.
That's part of the reason I wanted to be on that stage. Not just because I wanted to be on that stage and it was a moment for me personally to be like, holy shit, I've done well enough to be on this stage. Like that's a thing.
Yeah.
But also because the moment you're on that stage, I now have the credibility to reach out to anybody in that room. And they will take my phone call and they will answer all my questions and they will get you guys the information that we need. So that is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. Congratulations. It was really cool. It was good. It was really cool. Mike, did you have takeaways from the? You did?
So
Here.
one of the speakers, 2 of the speakers that were up there
Here, hold on. Come here.
were Preston Guyton, is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And
yeah.
Travis?
Come
I don't
stand
know,
right here.
I don't know Travis's last name.
Wicked mullet.
Wicked mullet.
Like I want to walk up behind him with scissors and just like.
I think it's kind of awesome.
So his talk was on database management and how to get the most out of your database, and it was a really interesting talk. And then later that day, when we were out, I was talking to various team leaders about their databases, and I'm finding our database of leads is literally over double the average major team nationwide, which was really interesting to me. Like most of them were in that 40 to 60,000 range. Ours is closer to 145,000, 200,000 with everybody in it, including all of our closed past clients and everything else. And then what I'm learning is it's not necessarily about how many leads that we have, it's about how deep we're going with the connections, right? I really appreciate what you said, Wendy, about the 45-minute phone call. It's not about going after 100 leads at a time necessarily. It's about let's see how long we can make those phone conversations. And then I thought back to my prospecting days, and when I was going after expires or buyer leads or whatever it looked like, all the calls that were over 30 minutes equal to closing, almost 100% of the time. All the calls under 5 minutes, it was shaky, maybe 10% converted.
Yeah.
So continuing to go deeper on those relationships, and I don't want to say drop the script, because forward and bearing that in mind is exceptionally important right now, I think. But definitely going deeper and deeper and deeper on their motivation, on the why, on their hobbies, on their interests. Make the entire conversation about them. Really listen to what they're saying and go 3 deep on the questions to keep getting more information out of them, right? Be interested, not interesting. Does that make sense? So that was one of my takeaways. Another one of my takeaways was talking with Via. So her and I went and climbed a mountain, which was amazing. I got attacked by a tree on the mountain, which is why I've got a couple scrapes on my head.
Oh yeah, you were like bleeding from your head.
It was
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
You got
Like
lost
2 days.
3 times. You ran into
Well, look at him. Look at him.
I Alright, so somebody, for some reason, I was the only one that climbed this mountain before, but I wasn't paying attention, so they put me in charge of this group of people. This was really good. And like we're over here, and I'm like, let's go down this path, which is great, instead of going this way. And we get like 20 minutes in, and we're like, shit, the path is like half a mile that way. So then I was like, no, we're not gonna go back up and down, we're gonna cut across, which was the worst idea ever, and all these people are staring at us and just laughing. Yeah, my friend Noel almost fell off the side of the mountain, it was great.
It was great.
It was great. But one thing that I noticed that Via was saying, and Via's got insight into a couple hundred teams nationwide with the organization she's with, is for some reason she was saying like during a lot of August, everything just kind of paused for a minute, but they're seeing showings and listings and everything just roaring back just over the last 3 weeks. And then her data is showing that, and a lot of her stuff is West Coast, but West Coast usually happens a couple weeks before us. A lot of her data is showing that we're going to have an exceptionally strong fall, especially with the half point rate downward. So now is the time to follow up and get people on appointment, which is part of the reason why we're doing Mayhem Monday, which is great. We didn't even have that information before, but now is the time. Yeah. That's all I got.
You always call
Good job. Mayhem Monday.
Monday Mayhem. Monday Mayhem.
And you spelled it wrong in the Facebook post. Did you know that? Did I tell you that?
That was Derek.
Mayhem.
Well, it was effective. Okay, here's some of my takeaways. Ready, guys? Here, you're going to write these down. Ready? Okay, the first one I took away. I wrote down, make a choice. Make a choice. We all get a lot of information, don't we? Like information is thrown at us every single day. Make a choice. Take energy from people that have the life that you want. Take energy from people that are wanting to live a better life. Make a choice. Turn your brain off on the haters, guys, or the people trying to drag you down. Learn and take energy from people that are winners, that are winning, going for a better life, and that have the life that you want. Okay, here's my next takeaway. Hey, you know sometimes we'll like try some stuff and it won't work, and then so we'll try something else, and then we'll jump and we'll try something else, and we'll jump and try something else, right? And we kind of do that thing. Well, instead of doing that, pause very quickly on what your original idea or what you were taught, and inspect your execution first. Instead of jumping ideas, go to someone that already has what you want, learn from what they're doing, and instead of jumping to the next idea, inspect your own personal execution first. Inspect your execution first. By the way, Monday Mayhem is a perfect example of this. We've had people that had never set more than one appointment in a day, and because they were forced to sit here and execute, they set 5. Inspect your execution first before moving on to a new idea. By the way, that works in your friendships, in your relationships, in your all of it. Inspect your own personal execution first.
Hey, Austin,
Yo,
can we stay here for 1 second?
please do.
You're reminding me how often Chep said this on stage.
Yes.
Right?
Austin didn't take a lot of notes. Yeah, I took the good notes.
No,
Go.
he didn't. You're not. By the way, we
I
talked
know,
about
you don't have to defend it. I'm
He's
good.
a networking king, you
Yeah.
guys, by the way, right? He's always, we're always like, where the fuck is Austin? And he's in the back of the room talking to somebody. He's like, oh, I got this person's phone number, we're gonna go do this and that. It's great. And then Perna and I are the good students who sit at the first table in the center, in the middle, and on time. And Perna has 5 cups of coffee in front of him, and everybody comments on it. It's a shtick. And we take a bunch of notes. It's just like the synergy works. But the execution was interesting because we had a couple of coaching calls with Cheplack before this too, where he was talking about that. Because we had said, hey, we're going to try this, or hey, we're going to try that. And he was like, hang on a minute. Have you guys gone back? Have you not only inspected your execution of the things that you're already doing, but are you at least 80%? Is the thing that he told us.
Mm-hmm.
Because perfection is never going to happen, right? So if we have this expectation of perfection, then one little thing goes wrong and it's not perfect and we give up. And so that's never going to happen. But are you at 80%? Did you execute at 80% consistently over time? And so not just inspect it and look at it and like, oh yeah, I'm doing pretty good, but like, am I at 80% consistently over and over and over and over? Only once you've executed at 80% over and over and over. And so it was interesting because one of the things we were talking to him about, we were like, yeah, you and I looked at each other and we were like, yeah, we've been doing it at 80% for a while. So now we know and we feel really confident in making a change, right? And there are other things where we look at it and we go, no. Like maybe we did it at 80% once for 1 week, but we didn't do it for 6 weeks. We didn't do it for 2 months. We just did it once, and then the rest of the time was 40 or 50%. Well, that's not good enough. And you got to really test out that theory. So I thought the number there for me, was an important way to. have that
80%. Are you executing at an 80% level before you move on? Consistently until you move to the next thing.
Yep.
So 80% level at 80% of the time
Correct.
before you move to the next thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like open houses. Can I just?
yeah.
We've been doing this lately with open houses. I've been talking to a lot of people about them. And people are like, oh, well, I did one last month. I didn't get any clients from it. Fuck open houses. That's the thing that we love to like get rid of the first. It's the first, like, skipping that pillar, right?
Mhm.
And in reality, that's your fastest way to a paycheck right now. Somebody walking through the front door of an open house, and I only need 1 out of every 3 open houses, is my fastest way to a paycheck right now. If you need a paycheck, that's what you're doing. But instead, what we do is we show up to 1 open house, or maybe 2, and then we go, meh, didn't get anything. Next, I'm gonna go back to the ponds. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the ponds, but like, are you executing at 80% with that open house? Did you follow up with at least 80% of the people that walked through the door immediately, same day, right after the open house? Did you call them the next week? Did you call them the next week? Did you host 2 or 3 open houses that month? Only when you've done that can you say to yourself, I have executed at 80% and open houses aren't my thing. And I dare anybody to come back and tell me that because I know it's not true. So it's interesting.
Matter of fact, one of the team leaders had rolled out a contest that his people were going to do 60 open houses in 60 days
Yeah.
each.
Yep. It's Ben Kinney with Place who has how many teams?
Just shy of 400.
He has
400.
400 teams. He
Yeah.
threw out, now I'm going to butcher these numbers a little bit. You probably know them better. So good. Ben had 400 teams. He had like 500 people on those teams, like 570. No, he had like 2,000 opt in to the 60 in 60 days, 60 open houses in 60 days. And he had 570 completed.
Didn't he say like the average person?
2,000 dials,
Yeah.
60 open houses in 60 and 90, wasn't it?
50 open houses in 60 days.
50 in 60 days.
And then 2,000 dials.
2,000
or,
dials.
I think it was 10,000 dials in lieu of open houses.
Yep.
It was a crazy high number.
It was a crazy high number. You guys, and he had 500 people do it, completed it.
Yeah.
I know one of the girls who did it, who's with Place, who I have networked with in the past. And she goes, look, I just sat at that open house. She had a couple listings. She held them open every day from 1 to 3. She was sitting there. And she said, I would have people walk through the front door. And the rest of the time, if they weren't walking through the front door, I was making dials. She goes, I was highly productive for 2 hours a day, every single day for 60 days. It totally changed her world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you executing at 80% of the time? Good. Actually, the thing that it made me think of, Jeff, remember Jeff did a really cool, at one of our all-team advances, he did a really cool presentation called Level Up. And what he was doing is kind of comparing your real estate career to like a video game, right? Remember that? It was such a cool presentation, one of the coolest ones I've seen. And I thought about you in that moment because it's like, okay, everybody here's played a video game before, yeah? Okay, cool. Like back in my day, it was Sonic the Hedgehog, so just so you know. It was Mario, but anyway. Mario 3. Pinball counts. Okay. So if you think about it this conceptually, like if you think about, okay, so there's a brand new video game, right? And you've got someone that's not very good at this video game, so their starting point is right there. And then there's other people that have natural talent, right? And so maybe their starting point is right here. Does that make sense? This person plays this video game 2 hours every day, right? And so they just keep working at it and working at it and working at it and working at it. This person plays that video game 2 hours once a week, but they started here, didn't they? Right? And they're working at it and they're working at it, but not really. They're not very consistent. I mean, it's not going to take very long for that person to surpass them, correct? And And so we're picking up all these skills all the time. But dude, the basis of any skill is repetition. If you're trying to teach a kindergartner how do you read, how do you teach a kindergartner how to read? You make them read more, yeah? If you want to teach and so the people that are, look, man, the people that are hitting their lead gen 2 hours every day, I promise you over the course, it might not be a year, it might not be 2 years, it might not be 3 years, but I promise you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, this person that committed to 2 hours every single day is going to make exponentially more. Like success is a hockey stick is what I was thinking about. Like we think about we'll put in time and effort and we want to see a linear result. We want to see it get better like incrementally over time, right? But that's not the way any skill building works. The way it works is you lay a foundation and then it hockey sticks up. Does that make sense? And so what happens is like, dude, think about how many things in your life you've quit right there or right there, right when you were about to pop. Does that make sense? The challenge with that, by the way, is that means you just got to start a new hockey stick over with something else. Does that make sense? And so, inspect your execution. That's one of my takeaways. Okay, here's a new one. Ready? Do you practice your scripts, dialogues, words that you use? Are you constantly finding new, better words? Are you practicing the words that you say? People make decisions based on the words they hear. People make decisions based on the words they hear. If you're not getting people to make the decisions that you want, the outcomes that you want, you need to inspect your words. You guys, that's what we do for a living. We have words. That's it. That's it. We've got words and effort, yes? What an incredible business that we're in. You can make 6 figures on words and effort. People make decisions based on the words they hear. Are you practicing your words? By the way, when's the last time you read exactly what to say for real estate agents? It's $12 on Amazon. Exactly what to say for real estate agents. Right? Are you practicing the words? When's the last time you went back and reviewed the scripts? Look, I know during boot camp, we pound that crap into your head, yeah? But dude, if you don't think that you need to go back and revisit some of those things and look at them every once in a while, even if it's to scan it, read it out loud a couple of times, you're dead wrong. The top people in the country look at their words every day. They analyze their words every day. They drive home after every appointment and think about the words that they say and the reaction that they got from the client. You get paid on your words. If you don't like your bank account, inspect your words. Inspect your effort, inspect your words. Here's the next one I wrote. Wake up every morning and think, I want to impact people's lives. How can I make someone's life better? I want to impact people's lives. How can I make someone's life better? Can I tell you something really interesting? Have you ever heard rich people talk? Right? You've seen it on the news. Maybe you've talked to some in person. I find that when I talk to rich people, wealthy people, people with big lives, they talk a lot about giving. Right? What's interesting is we think, well, they're rich so they can give. Or maybe some of you cynics, although this is true, you think, well, they only give so they can get the tax write-off. Right? They only have that stuff. But the more of these rooms that I'm in, the more it just cements to me, these people are rich because they give. If you want to have a bigger, more enriched life, find a way to give. Give time, give praise, give encouragement, help somebody in need, bend over backwards with somebody. If you find a way to to give, do it. If you like have that impulse to buy someone a coffee behind you in line, do it. Like you're setting these activities in motion. You're setting these things in motion. Does that make sense? And so these people give to give, and they wake up every day looking to give, and their life gets bigger as a result. Does that make sense? It's very interesting. By the way, find me a single, we have all kinds of different cultures, creeds, everything. Find me a single religious text that doesn't preach that. I mean, this shit has worked for 10,000 years, guys. And so that when we don't give and when we're not looking for someone to help, we live in our own selfish intent and our life gets smaller. Over the course of time, your life will get smaller. Yes, we all know a friend that's selfish, that only talks about themselves, that always has an agenda, and you just watch over time their life get gradually smaller, yes? Okay, wake up every morning, find someone to help. Here's the next one, ready? You've got a sales process. I've got a trust building process. You've got a sales process. I've got a trust building process. Is anybody going to do business with you if they don't trust you? Matter of fact, really great entrepreneurs talk about this. They go, who was I here? I think Simon Sinek was talking about this. He said, look, man, a contract is only good as the person that you have it with. He goes, my best business partnerships, we violate our contract all the time, but we trust one another. And he goes, and I have other relationships that we have really great contracts, but I know as soon as we have to go back and reference the contract, I need to get out of business with that person because there's something going on with that dynamic and that trust. And so, how do you get people to trust you more? Well, we need to be a guide for our clients. We need to guide them. We need to ask questions. We need to learn about them. We need to listen. We need to provide solutions. We need to create trust-building mechanisms. As a matter of fact, one of the things they talked about was a lot of we statements and us statements and team statements and together statements. I've got your back. Your family is important to me. By the way, you get paid by the words that you use. I've got your back. Your family is important to me. We're going to make sure we get this right. Right? And so are you building trust within your relationships and within your business relationships, or are you building a transactional business? Does that make sense? Are you creating the kind of raving fans that refer somebody at work and then that person at work shows up at your meeting like Dawn and says, do you have time for me? Are you creating that kind of trust and raving fans within your business? Stop with the sales process, even though we talk about run the play. Build trust. Start with trust. You're gonna make more money. The trust, the words that you use. Make sense? Okay. Here's my last one, and I'll land the plane. Ready? And then I'm going to ask for your feedback. Never stop doing the simple stuff. This one hit me between the eyes, by the way. Answer your phone. Dude, you guys. Raise your hand if you love calling a business and they don't pick up. When your phone rings, you should be diving across the table to answer it. Not during the damn meeting, Wendy. Fucking crazy. Somebody explain that. Somebody explain the universe. Go get it, girl. If nothing else, that's crazy. Tell me the universe doesn't work. Tell me if you knew that you could call a business person and they would pick up every time, tell me you would call them less or more. More. Pick up the phone every time. If you don't know what the number is, pick up the phone. If it's an unknown number, pick up the phone. If it's an annoying ass client who's called you 18 times that day, pick up the phone. Right? Pick up the phone. Never stop doing the simple stuff. Do what you say you're going to do. Be consistent. Get back to people when you say that you are. Right? Under promise, over deliver. Never stop doing the simple stuff. Okay. All right, any takeaways today? There's a lot of just a lot of hosh posh, but whatever. I wanted to get you back to you. Any takeaways today? Anybody got one? Give me 3. I'll move on if we get 3. Go. I see you, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, we had to move the glasses up. All right.
I'm a new guy, Stuart Harmon, in boot camp now, but so I'm transitioning from a 30 plus year automotive safety career. And so what I hear, a lot of things I know that I apply or have applied over 30 years at work. So my thought process, I guess other people have experienced, it's funny how the things that we do at work, we tend to let go of in our personal life, which are the things that have worked and helped us be successful at work. So they would be should also help you be successful in your personal life.
Right.
Just by paying attention and returning people's call, being respectful. I like the video game analogy. This is something that's interesting that people tend to forget. So for the video game, like you mentioned, so we get on the video game where we suck at it, and then we keep playing it, and then we build some level of prowess, right? And that's not a big deal. And failing a level or failing each time at a video game, we just kind of suck it up and go right back at it. On the job or in our personal life, first time we fail, then everything is all done. We want to, kill ourselves, and that's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We feel really heavy about it, and it just ruins our whole day, if not wrecks the whole week, or even worse.
Yeah.
So, looking at things like that video game, and understanding that, failure is really not failure, it's just learnings and experiences. And you move forward from there, and you keep trying, you try again. I like the idea of the 80%, I gotta put my glasses on. But the execution at 80%, or expect your execution. So that's one thing I used to do as an engineer when things weren't working, and that's his thing. So as an engineer, we would just grind it out, iteration after iteration after iteration after iteration, till things worked. But sometimes I would ask my team, forget everything you think you know about this problem, and to try to actually do a hard reset or a reboot, and that's your inspection of your process or your execution.
Yeah.
Because sometimes your thinking is off, but it ain't off real far. You know what I mean? So you make those little adjustments, and then realize when it's important to realize, okay, I got to throw in the towel on this one, and then restart.
Yeah.
So but you have to be mindful as you're moving forward, and be able to look at yourself honestly, or your process honestly, and understand. And then ask other people, hey, am I screwing this up or not? And so I would always ask my team that. It's like, look, man, I think I'm really off the rails on this. Does that make sense to you guys? And it took a while for them to just respond to me and say, no, that's full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. But when someone asks you for feedback, they want it honestly, and they want you to tell them, hey, you're in the weeds, buddy. And so that's just mine.
Good takeaways, man. Thank you. Isn't that interesting? If we just attacked failures in our business and personal life like a 10-year-old on a video game, we'd have a much different outcome, wouldn't we? But we get taken back. Yeah, it's a great way to connect that. Yeah. You got one? She said, I got you.
I think the big one for me was take energy from people that have the life you want and turn off the haters. When I first told family and friends I was getting into real estate because I had to make a career change from the medical field, not by choice, but life happens.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, you're crazy, why are you getting into this? But then coming here and just being around the team, and Sadie was a big one yesterday of just saying you're putting in the work, keep going, you got this, it's gonna happen. So that's a big one of me trying to take energy from this room, even of just keep putting in the work and keep doing it and turn off the haters.
Yeah, it's good. Good one. Good. Somebody bring me home. One more. I see you. By the way, you look sharp today.
Thank you.
Look at this suit. Let's go.
Look at me. Thank you. And they say, oh no.
Oh, no. Yeah. Say, yeah, I know. I look good.
So my biggest takeaway was it was the you got a sales process, and it also was kind of like that video game analogy. So before I was working at nonprofits, I used to have to raise dollars for the nonprofit. So I met a lot of big wigs downtown Detroit. And I see that that trusting process. It will be times where one year, everybody, they say their biggest thing was, oh, we don't have any more dollars. You should have called sooner. So
Yeah.
that's when they donate, that's the thing that they say. But so over the course of like months and months, just building that relationship, and now they're trusting me. Oh, this is Janae. How are you? Different things like that. And then they start trusting me, so they're like, oh yeah, we have X amount of dollars or 30,000 to give you guys. And so I learned that, not giving up, and also building that trust with the company presidents and different things like that. They begin to, be more generous, and they were really good, people. It wasn't like, oh, we just get a tax write-off, because most of the times they weren't even thinking about that. They would forget to sign a W-9 and things like that. So
Yeah.
It was really out of their heart. So
Yeah.
that was a really big takeaway for me.
Trust building. It's good. Good takeaway. Okay.